Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 16, round number 2 of the Championship. Welcome to the Jeddah Street Circuit here in Saudi Arabia. I'm your host, Zach Arsley. Alongside me for a second week in a row once again, we have the returning Daniel Aaron. Dan, good to see you, mate. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Zach. It's good to be here. Should be a fun race here at Saudi Arabia. Quite a new track on the calendar, but I think the drivers have had enough time to get used to it, so we should see a fast race tonight. A lot of corners to get through. Yeah, I hope for a good one.
It should be an absolute blast. And if Bahrain isn't anything to go by, we have a very competitive grid here tonight in the RDL. So full grid for us once again. We have Pope reserving in the AlphaTauri course. Not the best of races from last time out. Of course, a high qualifying position, but ended up becoming, I believe, the only retiree of the race, going down as a DNF after crashing in turn 3 to bring out the safety car midway through the Grand Prix. And that crash sort of shaked up the race a bit. So perhaps we're hoping for less of that tonight. Hopefully Pope can make it to the line. Hopefully everyone can make it to the line in what should be a very entertaining affair. Dan, just looking back to last week, of course, Nicholas taking the win, coming out on top over both Williams cars and sliding home in 3rd place. Are we in for more of the same tonight? Should it be a good race for us?
Well, it's a very different circuit. This one's obviously quite tight, quite technical, whereas Bahrain is quite open, quite a lot of heavy braking zones as well. So I think we could see different drivers excel here compared to Bahrain. Maybe it suits a skill set of someone like Websy, for example. Obviously, we won't know until 15 minutes time, roughly, when we have a provisional grid for qualifying.
Sounds good. Okay, I've got Pope here. He's about to come to the last corner. Would you care to take us on a lap of Jeddah, Dan? Is that all right with you?
That's absolutely fine. So here he is at the last corner. Run was a bit wide, so he's immediately hampered his run to the start-finish line. But his DRS is open and his ERS is on. Heading down into turn 1, braking just after the yellow bollard on the left. He has a bit of a slide through turn 1, but nails turn 2 and comes through turn 3 absolutely fine. And this is probably the toughest part of the circuit. The curbs can be your worst enemy around here. Blind corners all the way around. Here we go, flick right. This is the curb you don't want to touch. He avoids it well, comes through, and another curb. And that's a lap invalidated for Pope, so he backs off straight away.
Okay, should we carry on? I've got one of the Alpines. That's Ethan going through, basically picking up where Pope left off, about halfway down around the lap.
Yeah, I see him now. He's just heading after the long left-hander into this quick right-left chicane. It is very quick. It's probably actually one of my favourite corners on this track. Then into one of the DRS, I would say straights, but you're almost turning the entire time into this hotel section. Very quick left and a quick right as well. Ethan keeps it in 7th gear throughout there. Nice run into the last DRS section. As actually just above, we see Lycan get a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with PJ. Into the last corner. It's a hairpin left. 3rd gear all the way through. That's very nice for him, Ethan. Nice and clean. On to the last one now. DRS open. Try and keep it tight to the line. And Ethan sets the first lap at 1:27.7 from Ethan in the Alpine.
And not a bad effort at all, but Imri going faster there by about half a second. So the Ferrari driver, who of course lost out in Bahrain last week, back at it again with another flyer here to kick off quali in Jeddah. Nicholas, his teammate, winner from last week, on the intermediate tyres. So a bit of an odd gamble there for the number 46 Ferrari on his first run. Unsure as to what the plan is there. Grovey goes fastest. First car in the 126s. Fantastic lap from the Red Bull driver, who only just lost out last week as well. She was part of that lead train for the majority of the Grand Prix. As of right now, sits in 8th place, I believe after Stewart's decision, with just the 1 point in the Drivers' Championship. There was a bit of an incident towards the late stages of the Grand Prix that sort of shook up the order after the stewards had their say. But hopefully we'll see a bit less of that this week.
Yeah, that incident with Che and Blaze towards the end, I think you actually caught, well, Blaze obviously losing points, and Che ended up getting 5 seconds. That dropped him down to P7 as well. So it shook up a bit of the order compared to what was streamed as Nicholas sets his intermediate lap. I'm not exactly sure what his aim was on this intermediate lap, whether it was just keeping a set of tyres fresh. But we've seen Salve Grumio, or as I'll probably call him throughout the stream, Blaze, is currently provisional pole with a 26.5, 2/10 quicker than Grovey, and everybody else in the 27s as well behind.
Yeah, Pope just went P5 there in the AlphaTauri, so getting a second lap in on that first run after invalid. We saw him invalidate on his first effort, run afoul of the white lines. Koch goes third fastest. He is there in the Alfa Romeo. Of course, was also in that pack. 4 points to his name in the standings. And of course, we'll be looking in particular at the championship over the next few weeks just to see who we get the early contenders for the RDL title this time around. And of course, we are still in agreement that the point system will shake things up there. Of course, top 8 scoring points as opposed to top 10, and only 10 to 1 in terms of distribution. So the old 2003 points format there. But looking ahead though to what should be the remainder of qualifying, 13 cars have all set laps so far. Steininger out on the racetrack, Arsenal fan also out on the racetrack. Both of them yet set times though. Everyone else who hasn't set one is in the pits as it stands. But as I say, that JB in the Aston Martin back out on the racetrack finished in 10th place last time out, so not too bad for him at all. Or finished 10th place after the stewards. But hopefully he'll be looking to get his first point to the ball. But that could be tough given how close this field is.
Yeah, a driver that's caught my eye at the moment is Shane in P6 in the Mercedes.
Ooh.
They didn't have a great first race here in Bahrain, but P6 above Landlord, who I think, well, he definitely got a few points. Whether it was a podium, I can't exactly remember. But, you know, keeping himself within touching distance of the likes of Pope, Imrie and Cott as well. So, yeah, it's good to see Shane in the Mercedes immediately back up there after a slightly disappointing first round.
Definitely, and I've got the results here. Landlord in the end came home in second place. Of course, led the majority of the way alongside Grumio, but lost out in the end in the closing laps as Nicholas pulled away for the victory. And we're still waiting for him to come back out on the racetrack this time, hopefully on some drier tyres. We still got no clue as to what the game plan was for Ferrari there. It may have just been Ferrari doing a Ferrari thing, but we move on from that if that's the case. Grovey and Imrie back out onto the racetrack here and looking to set new times. Of course, Grovey has been quite the qualifying ace so far this season. Or at least this season, and last year was up there quite a few times last season. But of course, we're still waiting for her to break that duck and take her first pole and first win, if my memory is correct. I don't believe she started on pole yet, actually.
I don't believe she has. She might have in Qatar.
I'm thinking maybe, yeah. I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah, my memory recall isn't great when it comes to last season. I was just trying to get through it, but you know, I'm currently with JB on his lap, and he's having quite a good first sector actually. Taking no real breath when it comes to the curbs through sector 1, and a 32.2 in the first sector as well. Isn't bad either. Again, Aston Martin, another team that didn't have a great first weekend. Obviously JB got P10, but that's no points now, so Aston Martin also have a bit of catch up to do if they want to see themselves up at the top of the championship come the end of the season.
And it'll be very close, so that they've got a number of teams that we're looking to contend with, in particular Williams, Ferrari and Red Bull. I dare say that those teams are the ones to keep an eye out for. But I won't count out Alfa Romeo or McLaren. That top 5 in the constructors right now, very strong. Curtis and Cott in the Alfa Romeos can't be overlooked at all. And of course, the reigning constructors championship winning pairing, BJ and Fan. Of course, BJ didn't have quite as successful a race as Fan did to kick off their title defence, but I'd assume, these two have performed well in this race before, and I'm hoping for their case it'll be more the same. As JB goes P7 there, we said we'll keep an eye on his lap, so good job from him. He puts himself in front of Landor, and lucky he's still down there in P9 now.
Yeah, another team to keep an eye on is AlphaTauri. Obviously, Pope is reserving for Che tonight. Che, who dropped down a few places after his incident, as I said earlier. But this is Lycon's first race this season as well, so he'll be looking to cook on. He won a race last year, and I'm sure he'll be looking to add to his tally as he goes P13 over the line. Not a great first lap from him, but he also has a 5-place grid penalty to deal with this race, so it might not be the weekend for AlphaTauri that they'd want.
At least not so far. But of course, we've got to count while Lycon is down there in P13. As it stands, he's 1.3 seconds off the pole time. Grumio, Imri, and Grovey are the only ones to put it in 26s for the minute. But he is 7/10ths off of P4. So just again goes to show you how close this field is, especially over one lap. So that's something we'll keep an eye out here. So we won't get too discouraged by certain drivers and their qualifying performances, but we'll just have to see how that goes later on in the season. Waiting here on Nicholas, who's on his way through here at the end of the first sector. Grovey goes fastest again, 1 minute 26.4. She seems to be locked in an early stalemate with Grumio. But keep an eye on Nicholas here as he comes through on his first real lap on soft tyres.
Yeah, I think it was a purple first sector, or at least it flashed up on the track map for Nicholas. Again, Ferrari had a really disappointing qualifying last weekend, but that race pace was really strong. They came away with a race win out of it. I think Imri ended up having a collision that took him away from the points, so we'll have to see how Nicholas goes. There's cars in the way, and there's a crash.
And that's Pope and Nicholas.
And Pope. Nicholas gets a 5th place for that.
And that means he starts dead last. He's P15 now.
Pope is out as well, so not good.
At least as
for either driver.
Really not sure what happened there. I mean, from where I'm sitting, it looked like both of them were just on their way through, and I mean, obviously, I'm unsure if Pope was on a lap himself. But
yeah, I mean, I'm sure they'll say something in the chat to each other, and I'm sure the stewards will discuss it afterwards as well. Pope says my bad in the chat, so I think he's taking fault for that. Yeah, not again. I was talking about Ferrari disappointing in qualifying last time out, and I think I might have just got the curse on them again, unfortunately. Sorry, boys.
I'm sure they'll forgive you later on. Hopefully, should all go well for them in the race. Of course, they've still got Imre there in P3, so not too concerned with one of their drivers' positions. But of course, Nicholas wanted to go out there and set one more lap in order to get himself as high up the order as possible before that 5th place penalty takes. I'm too used to saying 3 seconds because of track limits normally. But unfortunate that we caught that. But hopefully Nicholas will be able to get back out on the racetrack and give us another solid lap. As Koch goes fastest there, only just over Grovey, 0.04 of a second in it. Look how close that is down at the top of the timing screens. The Alfa Romeo now sits in P1 as Landlord moves into P5.
Yeah, it's crazy. And we also have the other Red Bull coming through the last corner now. He's Slazenger just about to come to the DRS zone, opens it up, fuel lights flashing. Where does he go? He goes P6 with his first lap. So again, very strong from Red Bull and Williams as well. But Cott at the moment, that 400th of a second over Grovey, it's a very good lap from the Alfa Romeo as Grumio is coming into Sector 3 now.
Oh, he's 3.5 tenths up as well. We'll keep an eye on him as he makes his way through here. Of course, he only needs 1 more tenth to reclaim pole for himself. That's just how close it is. Imri on an outlap now as well, so we'll see him come through as well. Look at that. As it stands, 7,000th of a second between P3 and P4. Again, just how tight-knit this field is over one lap is absolutely fantastic, and it should make some spectacular racing too. We'll keep an eye on Grimmer here, who pulls off into the pit lane.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake entering Sector 3. Just got a bit wide and maybe just rode the curb a bit. Might have lost him a bit of time, and I think he wouldn't want to waste that set of softs, especially if you need them for the race that's coming up soon.
Definitely. Couple more minutes to go then in this qualifying session. Landlord on his way through here. I'll assume he'll be stopping this time. He's a few seconds down on his best effort. 6 cars are now set 1 minute times in the high 26 or the mid to high 26s. Shane's still there, best of the rest in P7. Lucky Lambert behind him in 8th. Pope, of course, the only car out. He sits P9 right now. I should assume he'll fall down the order once the last few times come in the next few minutes or so. We're yet to see the big rush for everyone to come out the pit lane, so I imagine we'll see that in about a minute or so, perhaps even starting in a couple of seconds. We'll keep an eye out. Unsure as to how much time is left as it stands, just because of the yellow flag in the last sector will be the slow Red Bull of Slazenger as he makes his way towards the pit lane to kick everything off. 3 minutes to go, so 3 minutes on the mark before qualifying is over. So I dare say we'll start seeing cars coming out, and there they are. I see an Alpine and I see a Red Bull. That Red Bull will be Grovey, and that Alpine will be PJ Khaled. And we'll also, and Ethan's out on the racetrack now. He's one of the first ones back out. So I think, Dan, we're in for our last little late rush of qualifying laps as everyone looks to try and put it on pole.
Yeah, these are the laps that matter. I was just on board with Imri while you were speaking. I think he made a mistake on his first flying lap. So he's going to do 2 warm-up laps compared to everybody else's just 1. So he'll have less fuel, but his tyres might be slightly more worn compared to everyone else. Whether that gives him an edge, we'll have to wait and see when everybody comes over the line and this leaderboard ends up getting shuffled like a deck of cards.
Imri may have to be careful because as it stands, he may be coming around to the main straight and sort of joining in mid-pack with everyone else. I'll tell you, I've been here a few times in career mode myself doing this sort of thing, and the time in which you go out on the racetrack is absolutely critical. So when you get out there, you've got to have everything your way. You've got to have your own space in the racetrack. You've got to have no one else around you. It's Imri in the pits. Oh, and after finds out with a crash.
Yeah.
I'd assume.
Imri
retiring too?
Yeah, Imri's retired as well. I'm not sure where Arsenal fan is. I think he's...
I'll keep an eye on him. Okay, I believe he's crashed it at turn 4 or turn 5 or something. He might hit those curbs there.
Was that on an outlap as well?
I believe so. I want to say yes. I think everyone was on outlap.
Yeah, it's a shame for Arsenal fan and Mercedes. Obviously, they still got Shane up. He's still in P7, the first driver.
Oh, Nicholas fastest.
Wow, a 26.4 from... But he still has his 5th-place penalty to deal with as well. So we'll see how that changes. As we now have drivers all on their last laps. I think Grovey is the first one across.
Here we go then. Last minute of qualifying. Last chance saloon in the 18-minute session. 3 cars out the session. Of course, Pope crashing, Arstefan crashing. Curtis may have just retired in the pit lane. I think he's calling it there because Cott is out on the racetrack for his out lap. About to start his last run, keeping it right up there against the wall as he comes across the line. He's got 1 lap to try and put himself on pole. As it stands, he's on provisional pole because of Nicholas's penalty. But of course, the Ferrari with the fastest time as it stands right now. Grovey was up in the first sector, but she's invalidated there. Her lap has been deleted, and P3 were the best she can hope for in this race as Grumio starts his final attempt. Yellow flag in 6-2. That'll be a slow Imri, who was called an end to his lap 2. So, that's Nicholas. That's not Imri. Imri's out of the race.
Yeah.
Second flag has fallen. I apologise for my name blunder there. So that is fantastic. Grovey will be the first time round, but her lap is deleted. So we shall look now to the Haas of Webbs, who's 3/10 up in the second sector. As it stands, that could put her in front of both McLaren cars. Is it P14 and P15? Not a good effort for them at all in qualifying.
Cott spun on his lap.
He's spun it. Oh, and he's lost his wing too.
Yeah.
Not a pleasant shot.
At the moment, as Blaze just comes up to him now, Grumio.
Did he get through okay?
I think, yeah, he's got through fine. I'm going to see whether that hindered him. He's up in Sector 2 as well by 3/10, so it looks good for a pole for the Williams driver at the moment. Obviously, he's still got one more as Cott gets disqualified for parked in a dangerous location.
And all of a sudden, pole has been stripped from Cott.
Yeah, 5 minutes ago he was on provisional pole, and now disqualified, starting effective last. As Grumio, 26.3, faster than everyone else on a provisional pole.
Fantastic lap there from the 6-time champion to put himself back on provisional pole. Here comes Landlord towards the line. I don't think he's improving here. Nope, he stays P5, but Lysanger in behind him. Slanger stays in P6 as well. Lucky Lambo yet next to come through to the line, but coming into the pit lane. And Ethan, the last car on the racetrack, he's 22 seconds down. So that's it then. What an end to the session. And it's Grumio on pole. He'll lead Grovey and Imri to turn 1 with Nicholas's 5th place penalty, putting him down 7th on the grid. Shane will start from P6.
Yeah, there's quite a gap there between P6 and P7. 3/10. I don't think they'll be too worried about it. If you look at Shane, I think the biggest surprise of qualifying is Fan down in P12 last season's champion. I don't think we talked about him in that session that much, and he's, a second off of pole.
Definitely something to keep an eye out for. But of course, I remember he won this race 2 seasons ago, did Fan. So we'll be looking to hopefully make some level of improvement on his qualifying effort. But it's Grimio on pole, and hopefully should lead for a very, very exciting Grand Prix itself. So your top 5 before we go into the break. Grimio will start on pole. Nicholas qualifies in second, but will start P7 after his penalty. Groby in third. Imrie 4th, and Landlord in 5th place. Good qualifying for Ferrari, especially good qualifying for Williams. And Shane, keep an eye on him on the start. We could see him perhaps intruding on the main order, at least from the last Grand Prix. So that's your top 5, and we should be back with you in a few minutes' time for the start. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 16, Round 2. The Saudi Arabian Grand Prix about a minute away from getting underway. Once again, I'm your host, like I see, alongside me, Daniel Aaron. Second race in RDL commentary, at least. I know you say you've done commentary elsewhere. But it's good to have you back in the comments box. And we should have an absolute blast today. 25 laps of action here in Jeddah.
I mean, if last race is anything to go by as well, we should be in for quite a cracker. I see how the grid penalties shuffle up the order. Obviously, we got Cott coming all the way from the back as well, so it'll be one to keep an eye out for. And as I also said, last season's champion and the race winner from 2 seasons ago, C17P fan, down in 13th as well. Definitely another to keep an eye on as we head or get closer to the start of this race anyway.
We should be seeing everyone really up in a matter of moments now. Of course, again, another annoying thing about F1 23's design is the fact that there's no countdown timer. There used to be a countdown timer for our spectators, but none of that anymore. We just have to go whenever whenever everyone else is ready up, and then we just jump in with commentary. So we do what we can, as we did last season, as we will continue to do this season, because it promises to be a very close season, as you say, Dan. If Bahrain is anything to go by, we should be in for a right treat. And in a moment, we'll get to the starting lineup and see, as you say, how those grid penalties have impacted the field.
Yeah, last race at Bahrain, we also only had 2 cars go to a different strategy to the rest. And as we head to the grid now, we see immediately there's so much more choice from the drivers. There's a few drivers on the softs. Majority have gone mediums. But you also have Websey and Cott on the hards. Grovey, the only medium in the top 4. Pope and Lycon hoping to gain some position, so the AlphaTauris both on the soft from the start as well. Be interesting to see how this strategy shapes up for everyone. It should be quite tricky to keep an eye on, but it should be fun.
Without doubt, it should be an absolute blast, as always, Dan. So let's have a look then at your starting lineup. We'll go from the rear this week. PJ Khaled starts from dead last in the Alpine. Alongside him on the back row is Lycon, making his first start of the season after Pope reserved for him in Bahrain. Cott 5, after being disqualified from qualifying late on, after being parked in a dangerous location after a late spin, starts from P18. He's got the pace for pole today, so keep an eye out for him moving up to the field. Arsenal fan starts P17 for Mercedes. Starting one of the cars starting on the medium tyres, the tyre of choice for everyone today. Courtney Goblin in P16 for Haas, and it's Ethan in 15th for Alpine. JB finished in 10th place last time out. Of course, no points on offer for 10th anymore. He lines up from 14th. Curtis, teammate Takot in P13. Again, looking to get some more points on the board for Alfa Romeo, get his first points of the season if he can. As we've been saying, the reigning champion C110P fan won this race back in season 14, just about a year ago at this point. Starting P12, we're looking to try and gain those extra places in the race. Websy starts in P11. The two title rivals from last season going at it on row 6. Pope enters the top 10 here. Grid penalties moving him up to the field after an unfortunate crash with Nicholas mid-qualifying. Lucky Lambert lines up in P9. Again, looking to try and match his teammate's performance from the last race. BJ in P8, yet to score a point from the first round. Looking to join his teammate in that order. Nicholas came from P9 to P1 to win last time out in the opener in Bahrain, but of course being involved in that crash of Pope has put him down the order. 5th place grid penalty, qualified 2nd but lines up 7th. Shane disrupting the order in 6th place for Mercedes, then Slazenger in 5th for Red Bull. Landlord finished 2nd last time out, he starts in 4th. Imri 3rd, Grovey in 2nd place, looking to get the jump on 6-time champion and the defending winner of this race no less, Salve Grumio, who will lead us to turn 1. So there's your starting lineup, and as we say, Dan, a lot of different tyre choices in terms of different compounds. We've got a couple of cars up front starting on the softs. The medium's the main tyre of choice, and a few drivers let's go long on their first stint, in particular Websy and Cott, as the last few cars take their place on the grid as you get set to get the second round underway. PJ lines up alongside Lack on the back slot. We've got a full grid of cars for tonight's action, and here come the lights for the Races Driving League Season 16, Round 2 here under the lights in Saudi Arabia. And it's lights out, foot to the floor, go, go, go. Both of these getting away quite nicely indeed there. Grovey the best start, dives to the inside of Grumio. She's in the lead at turn 1, but Grumio goes back on the inside for 2. Yolano's around at the first corner, yellow flag already, and that's Lando off the circuit.
Yeah, not good as he reverses into the wall as well. There was definitely a bit more damage from some other drivers. I think Pope moving to the side. I think he has a bit of damage. Can't quite see as he's alongside Fan, who's dropped places as well, who definitely has damage. Unfortunate for the McLaren driver. But as we head back to the lead, I think Grovey's losing some places as well. Fighting for the lead through turn 1, now down into P6.
What has happened to Grovey on this race start? What happened to me for a second? My throat went for a moment, sir, so apologies. So Grumio leads the way. Imri in 2nd place, chasing down the former champion. Nicholas in 3rd place, Slaz 4th, BJ 5th, and Grovey. Yeah, what happened to her? Must have lost momentum in that first sector, but she's right there behind BJ now. So going to try and make a move here for P5 if she can. Might pull to the inside here, not going to go for it just yet. Lucky P7, Websy in 8th, it's Curtis behind him in 9th, and Ethan rounds out your top 10. Very fast start here, Dan, but everyone scuffling here for position early on. Fan down in P19, Shane dead last, and Landlord in P18. So 3 cars who are expected to be up there challenging down the order early on. As Imri, I think, which went for a move on Grumio, couldn't quite pull it off. Might go to the outside this time though, charging towards turn 1, start lap number 2 of this race. Imri on the outside of the racetrack. Williams versus Ferrari, 1990 style battling here as they enter turn number 1. Does Grumio get the edge this time? Imri's underneath, very tight. Who gets the jump on the exit? Nicholas behind him as well. Could Ferrari jump out in front of Williams? They're side by side as they run towards turn number 4, and Grumio backs out of it. Imri takes the lead away.
Yeah, very good start here from the Ferraris. Nicholas now on the back, on the harder tyres to Grumio. Maybe looking to make it a Ferrari 1-2. I mean, it's tough to keep it close through here, but Nicholas is doing it very, very well. And yeah, we've got 4 drivers in the pits, JB, Pope, Fan, and Shane. There's a yellow flag. I think Hot has spun.
Oh, he's lost his wing too. There, yeah. Oh, sorry to interrupt.
It's fine as, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but Pope, I think, got 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane when he made his stop, so goes from bad to worse for tonight's reserve. But this virtual safety car just gives everyone a bit of a chance to breathe, a bit of a chance to reset, and very interesting that Websy managed to gain positions. He's up to P8 in the points as we go green again. Websy on that hard tyre will be one to keep an eye on.
Definitely. We'll see if he can progress up to challenge Lucky in the Aston Martin. We have to keep Curtis at bay because I have no doubt that the Alfa Romeo will be on his case there as when they come back through on this DRS straight in a lap's time. The DRS about to be deployed for the first time here on lap number 3. There it is from race control, but Nicholas may not need it here. He's charging towards turn 1. Grumio defends the inside of the racetrack. And again, Ferrari on the outside for turn 1. Make that the inside for turn 2. Nicholas looks downstairs, but Grumio has the bit of exit, has the line on the way out and reclaims P2. And in the meantime, Grovy's managed to get P5 back. She managed to get back around BJ for that 5th spot. So she's now chasing her teammate Slazenger in the other Red Bull. So we'll see if those two will work together to try and close up to leaders who have really pulled away here. It's kind of the same sort of case as last week, but Imri now getting away to almost a second lead over Grumio. And if Nicholas can keep challenging him, then I dare say Ferrari will be overjoyed with their driver's pace in the opening laps.
Yeah, importantly, Grumio, it'll be interesting to see whether he stays within the DRS here. I think he's just out. So, as we actually have a look, yeah, Grumio's just out. So Nicholas now is going to look to open the DRS and attack down towards the entry to Sector 3. Can't quite attack there. Will Grumio get back in the DRS for this last corner? No, he won't. So Nicholas now, plenty of slipstream, plenty of DRS to use. Heading down into the last corner. Will he have a look, or will he bide his time? He waits again, gets the wider line and tries to slingshot out onto Grumio. He's got a better run as we head down into turn 1. I dare say he'll be alongside. He is now. Nicholas to the inside of Grumio and makes the move. Stick. It's Ferrari 1-2.
Fantastic stuff there. Great fight there between Nicholas and Grumio. And in the meantime, Grovey back up to P4 now, having gotten around Slazenger in the first DRS zone. A bit of a train forming there as Lucky is sitting at the tail end of it. And Webbsy leading the train of his own there. 4 cars, himself, Curtis, Ethan, and Lycon back in P11. Of course, only one car on that train getting points right now, and that is the train leader. So I have no doubt they'll be fighting him, all squabbling over that last spot in the points on the road. As Pope has got back around JB for P16. JB right there with him, but it's falling away due to the DRS. And Cotton Fan fighting for P18 as Shane is back there as well. And I dare say Nicholas is closing on Imri as well.
Yeah, the medium tyres working well for this Ferrari, but whether they'll just try and play it safe, whether there'll be some team orders in place just to try and maybe escape Grumio, because I think that's the more important issue rather than who's P1 and who's P2 at the moment.
I have to agree with you there. They're definitely this early on in the race, but of course these are two very strong drivers, so I imagine, as you say, have some kind of plan in place. But yeah, I think the main concern is just getting away from Grumio. If they fight each other too much, then that'll allow the Williams to close in with ease. But Nicholas is going for the lead here as they go towards turn 1. It looks like Imri will just let him have it here as they go into that first corner, which is fair enough. As you say, don't want to fight this early on, but just keep an eye out because that Williams will go for a gap when he sees one. And speaking of Williams, Landlord up into P14 now. He's on the charge back as well.
Yeah, as we actually see that Websy train is completely changed as Ethan and Curtis are side by side now in front of Websy. Ethan trying to take it tight, very, very close there, but a bit of a shuffle of the order.
There's Curtis who now has that sole point in his possession, but 4 seconds back from Lucky Lambo as Grumio side by side with Imri now as they go through. Contact! Oh, that was tight. I think Grumio's lucky he doesn't have any more damage in that car. Imri perhaps running him a bit too close to the wall, if I'm honest, but that can happen when you're racing side by side. I think Grumio's hit it again there. Not sure if he's got damage or not. I have to keep an eye out. But he's really fallen away. He must have lost a lot of momentum in the chicane. But now Ferrari lead 1-2. Nicholas 1.4 in the distance. And I'm starting to have seen this story before.
Yeah, I think Grumio does have a bit of damage. I think he's just losing a bit too much time through those faster corners. He still has his DRS on Imri, but again, this track, it's so downforce reliant. Whether we'll see an early pit stop. He is on the softs as we do see Grumio come into the pits to swap his wing. So Ferrari 1-2 and Grovey up into P3.
And keep an eye out for Slaz, BJ, and Lucky behind them all as well. So Grumio then into the pit lane after early collision with Imri, as Ethan, looking for P7, runs in the car all the way to the wall. Curtis very close to spinning out there. The Alpine now from side by side. Dan, I'm not sure if you've been keeping an eye on this as well, but have you noticed that some of these guys are completely lighting up the rear tyres on exit to a lot of these corners? Just keep an eye out. I've noticed it especially with Imri. If we go back to his POV here, that's one of the tighter corners on the circuit. But he's been giving those rear tyres quite a workout. I've seen him sliding all over the place.
Yeah, I've seen Lycon do it a couple of times as well, as we see Cott down in 18th set the fastest lap of the race on the medium tyres. Blaze put on the hard tyres, and he came out in front of Pope as well. So he's got a bit of clean air. Whether he can get himself back into contention for this race win, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, those rear tyres are taking a bit of beating from these drivers. Something to keep an eye on, especially as we haven't had a safety car. We've only had a VSC to sort of cool everyone down.
Well, obviously, let's not hope for a safety car in that respect. We'd like to see everyone make it to the end. No DRS for Imri, but he's closing on Nicholas massively here. Absolutely rapid gain as the two Ferraris now go nose to tail. Sorry, I might say wheel to wheel. But keep an eye on the Red Bulls behind them. I'm getting it's weird. I'm sensing a number of different generations of title fights here between with the Ferraris being involved against Williams and against Red Bull early on this season as Imri goes for the lead back off Nicholas. He takes it into turn 1. But Grovey closing in though, and I dare say if these two keep trading place like this, then it may be a matter of time before she gets DRS. She may even get it this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Nicholas for him to lose that much time, because he was about 1.8 seconds clear, and now he's fallen behind Imri. So whether that was team orders, but it might not have been the right decision, as Imri goes wide and concedes the lead back again to Nicholas. So Grovey definitely in this DRS train, as now we have 5 cars in the fight for the lead.
The Red Bulls and BJ now brought right back into the picture. We'll keep an eye out, especially for Grovey here.
Lucky as well in P6.
Don't count Lucky out either, indeed. He's there. He's been hanging about at the back of the train, but he's definitely there without doubt. He just needs to keep it in DRS range, but I dare say he's falling away from BJ now. He may miss out on it this time, potentially. I have to wait and see. I'll keep an eye on his rear wing as we make our way through past the line. Didn't quite get it that time, so Lucky may fall back a bit, but he's back in range now. He's just got to maintain that over the rest of the next couple of corners before the zone comes into play. Grovey though, looking for P2.
I think Grovey might come into this looking for P1, because Nicholas, as he gets boxed in, that is some very, very tight teamwork from Ferrari. As Grovey again with that lighting up of the rear tyres. Imri with very low levels of ERS, going to struggle to defend from his teammate here. Really struggled to defend from Grovey. Grovey looks for a move into turn 1, but nothing happens as BJ actually passed Slaz.
Oh, ran a bit there.
Yeah, both of them ran a bit deep, and Slazenger gets back into P4, and Lucky slots in behind as well. I mean, these guys, for all their fighting, they're still getting away from Curtis in P7 as well. So, I mean, these guys are fast, and this is probably going to go on the entire race.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, 8-9 seconds from Lucky to Curtis as it stands right now. Of course, Lucky is a former champion of the series, so obviously this is the sort of performance we expect from him. But I dare say, I don't think I've seen him win since back in season 11, which is on F1 2021, if my memory serves me correctly. He won Imola in the Haas. There was a late change for rain. Some drivers made the gamble to stay out, and some drivers came in. I believe for Lucky it paid off. I forget what side of the argument he was on, but it worked for him. Everyone quite split up now in this little pack as we continue on. We're on lap 8 now this Grand Prix, so still a long way to go. And we keep an eye out in terms of the cars for the back. Landlord now sitting in a very comfortable P12 and closing the gap now to PJ in P11. Grumio in 15th, Pope still there in P16, Cott 17th, and Fan in P19 right now. So those guys trying to come back, but we're looking for a safety car of some kind to get him closed up again. As Grovey now takes P2 away from Imri, and should be looking at Nicholas for the lead.
Yeah, it was a nice clean move just before the last corner, and Grovey keeps slotted into P2 as BJ now passed Slazenger on the DRS. It'd be interesting to see if Van can get back into the DRS of the top 3 as well, or whether Slazenger will continue to fight and maybe drop back a bit, as I think Slazenger again lighting up the rear tyres as you said before, a lot of these drivers struggling with the tyre wear, I think.
One of those tyre wear heavy circuits, sort of similar to how we saw it in Bahrain, because that's quite a tyre heavy circuit in itself, and we'll probably see that again when we go to Baku in a couple weeks' time as well. We'll keep our eye out on this top three as they continue to show the way. Fan getting around JB is Nicholas off the circuit there, running across the runoff there. So it may have gone a bit deep, not sure. I'm assuming he got a warning for that, not entirely sure, but we'll keep an eye out for that later on in the race. I'll be hoping to not make any more mistakes like that. And Slide's just taking back P4 from BJ now, and BJ going a bit deep himself, so losing time, but Lucky might come back at him now. The Aston Martin getting his first taste of some action against BJ here as they charge towards the last corner on the circuit. Won't quite get it, but Grovey may get close enough to go for Nicholas. We'll keep an eye out on the main straight, but she may just get around him essentially. Let's keep an eye out.
Yeah, Slazenger playing a bit of DRS chicken there with BJ in the battle for P4 as well. Just let off before the last corner, and Slazenger goes back to take P4 from the McLaren. Interesting strategy there that clearly worked out for the Red Bull driver.
Definitely, but of course, as a whole for the train, not working out right now. 2 seconds back from Imri, so well out of DRS range at this point. And speaking of Imri, I dare say that those soft tyres must be melting by this point. I mean, he's been on them for 9 laps and he's been pushing the daylights out of them so far. So, I mean, I imagine I've always seen Imri. He's been all right with managing his tyres, but I can't imagine it'd be too much longer before he looks for his first and what could be only stop of the race.
Yeah, another driver on the softs is Lycon, who is still fighting with Websy on the hard tyres, but yeah, I think the softs, they can probably do a few more laps before they completely go, and I reckon it'll be soft medium for a lot of these runners. I mean, yeah, again, it's just something to keep an eye on when it comes to strategy, because no one thinks the exact same way.
Exactly, and while there may be some kind of predetermined strategy that the game looks into, of course, I imagine everyone's got their own ideas in that respect. And speaking of ideas, Grovey might be having the idea to try and go for the lead off Nicholas. Around the outside goes the Red Bull into the braking zone. Nicholas will have DRS down the main straight, but Grovey in the lead for the moment. Yellow flag, and that is one of the Mercedes cars around. I believe that is Shane who's gone off. Recovers it nice and easy, but Nicholas and Imri both in the pits here. Ferrari double stack.
Oh, this might be a silly move as Imri just makes a bit of a stop before. Let's see how much this costs Imri with the double stack.
Hard tyres coming in for Nicholas. Looks like mediums for Imri. So these two have got very different plans for the remainder of this race. I mean, in fairness, he hasn't lost a heap of time. I've definitely seen drivers who have lost more in a double stack, but at the same time, I've also definitely seen better strategy, even from Ferrari themselves at certain points. So I mean, I'll assume we'll assume that they know what they're doing there, and we'll leave it at that. Imri narrowly rejoins in front of Arsenal fan and Cotley Goblin, who are squabbling over P13 as it stands right now. Landau will come back into the pit lane as well. He's on medium tyres now, so I imagine he'll go to the end of the race on those as well and just try and come back through the field here, because things haven't gone right for him since that's been at turn 1.
Yeah, no, but Salve Grumio got out in front of Nicholas despite a wing change, so he has been on a mission. 5 lap older, harder tyres than Nicholas, but I mean, he got pole for a reason, as we see Lycon get a 3-second penalty.
Shane.
And Shane retires in the pits. Yeah. So our first retirement of the night. About the same. We had this about the same time last week in Bahrain as well, if I remember correctly, Zach.
Yeah, I'd say it's around the same sort of time now. Of course, obviously different lap counts, so we can't always be equal. That the ideal mathematics don't always go overly well together, but we are a racing league and we're not mathematicians in that respect. Grovey's put a 3.7 second lead over Slazenger and BJ as those two now fight over P2. Lucky Lambert pulling into the pits, what should be his first stop of what should be his only stop of the race. I imagine he'll go on to the hard tyres. Yeah, I feel like the guys on mediums may have been banking on a safety car potentially, or at least some of them were, because they would have liked to put the hard tyres on perhaps earlier and then go to the end of the race on them. And Lucky is, I think, in a wing change as well there. Am I having that right?
I believe so, because he's lost quite a lot of time to Imri, who obviously lost time with that double stack. I think they would have come out around the same position, but yeah, Lucky.
Just in front of car.
Oof, yeah, that was close for the Alfa Romeo. Yeah, so the fact that Lucky was able to contend with Slazenger and BJ for that long with wing damage, I think goes to say that his true pace hasn't quite been realised this race yet.
Definitely, no. And of course, once those guys get back into play with him, then I dare say he'll show them just what he can do. As I say, former champion of this league can never be discredited from a solid result at all. Nicholas has got back around Grumio here, 1.3 seconds the gap now, as BJ and Slaz again going at it for P2. When will we see Grovey come in? And she's looking at her first stop now. In she comes.
Yeah, so I'd imagine it will be onto the hard tyres again, as Slazenger and BJ both stay out. They have been fighting quite a lot, as they both lost quite a bit of time to Grovey. I think it went from 1.8 to 4.6 in just under 3 laps. So as Nicholas sets the fastest lap of the race at 1:29.5, and Grovey is going to come out just behind them. Will she stay out in front of Imri? That's the closest car to her on track, and yeah, Grovey's come out in front of Imri.
So everyone seems to have split up a bit more now. As Nicholas going around Websy there, around the outside there for P4, looking to dispel this lap traffic. Well, I say lap traffic as quickly as he can. Curtis' next target for P3 now. Looks to the outside and looking to get the job done. Grumio following suit on Websy. And Nicholas around the outside, but now Grumio is about 2 seconds 2 seconds behind Nicholas, who's to obviously be 2 to the good at this point. Grovey about 3 seconds back from those guys, from Grumio now, so she's got a bit of work to do. She needs to get her skates on and push up towards the leaders here. As the race to the lead, Slazenger and BJ still going at it here. These two have not stopped, Dan, for about the last 8 laps or so, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, their fight has been quite respectable, but it's been, I hate to say, it's been quite samey the last few laps as well, as we see BJ get past before the last corner, and then Slazenger will open up the DRS and go through again on BJ. So we're seeing this quite a lot from the Red Bull, but at the end of the day, if he has that position by the start-finish line on lap 25, I think Slazenger won't be complaining.
Not at all. I see Webbsy into the pit lane there. Was running P6 at the time. Oh, locking up and only just avoiding the outside pit wall there. So very close, but he had it under complete control, as he always does. And now looking for a stop. I imagine he'll be going to the medium tyres. Yes, he is. Or keep an eye on the Haas team to make this stop. And a wing change as well for Webbsy. So a bit of a change in plan there for the MoneyGram Haas team as they make their change. And I see one of the Mercedes cars in as well. That'll be Arsenal van coming in behind as well. Hard tyres going onto that Silver Arrow. We'll keep an eye here on these two leaders who still go at it. Curtis now being passed by Grumio. And I dare say Grovey may gain a bit of time there with the Williams being, but not stuck behind the Alfa Romeo, but taking a little bit of time to close up and get the job done. And Nicholas now 3 seconds to the good in front of the 6-time champion. So Nicholas looking to make it 2 for 2 here. He's in a good position to do so, provided he can hang on for the next 11 laps.
Yeah, it started down in P7. Again, not towards the top, but I think gained 4 positions on lap 1 as well. So that immediately, as we see again, another fight for the lead between BJ and Slazenger. I wonder if any of these guys are going to try and make a stop.
Not yet.
No, they're both still fighting as Slazenger retakes the lead down into turn 1, this time on lap 15.
Nearing the last 10 laps now, the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which hasn't been as chaotic as it has been in recent seasons. I think we can appreciate that, which is always pleasing. I see one of the Aston Martins out. That's JB, who is I never realised there's a lap down at this point. Did he make one more stop? Can I look at this? He's made 3 stops in this Grand Prix. He's a lap behind.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been a very, very good race for the Aston Martin. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what's happened. JB did show a bit of pace in qualifying, and I don't think got that last lap in and got involved in that incident at turn 1, I believe. So didn't get points last week, doesn't look like points this week, as we see Imri now get past Curtis for 6th place on this track. But yeah, Aston Martin at the moment looking at Lucky Lambert for their points, who is currently under pressure from the Williams of Landlord.
We'll keep an eye on that fight, but we'll also keep an eye on Grovey here. He's looking to make a move on Grumio for P4 on the road. She's caught up very quickly there. I think battling with Curtis has definitely allowed her to close in a lot more than Grumio did. And both those guys not too far behind JB either. Grovey around the outside looking at P4, and she takes P4, but Grumio will have DRS for the main straight, so we'll keep an eye on these two. Slazenger and BJ going at it. No, BJ into the pit lane here. The battle comes to an end. And it looks like Slazenger will be the last car out on the racetrack. I dare say, Dan, he's going for softs for the finish, I reckon.
Yeah, I think, well,
BJ
is as well. Yeah, BJ going to do 10 laps on the softs. It says a yellow flag in Sector 1. I'm not exactly sure what has happened. I think that's JB just
JB,
saying all the
yeah.
lap. Yeah, JB just going slow on the side. So this outlap is important for BJ. He's got quite a bit of clean air to the cars in front, so you can gain a bit of time over Slazenger, who will have to try and have the in-lap of the gods.
It's going to be very tight here. I mean, I imagine he'll slip out the points. If I have a look at the gap between him and the car in 8th place, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Here we go. As it stands, about 25, 26 seconds between Slazenger and Landor right now. Or should we look at Lucky, to be fair? So it's 27 seconds, or more, 27.3 to be exact. We'll keep an eye on the gap here, but I imagine that's probably around sort of how long it takes to get through the yellow pit lane. So I should say he'll be right around those guys when he emerges, if not just behind them.
Yeah, Curtis also hasn't made his stop at the moment. He's down in P6, so he'll drop a few places afterwards as well. Whether Grovey can take this race to Nicholas is, I think, the question we have at the moment. And can Imrie also catch up to Grumio for that last space on the podium?
I'll have to wait and see. Slazenger into the pit lane. That means that Nicholas will reclaim the lead, and Grovey will move into second. And she'll have to contend with the 6-time champion hunting her down in the last 9 laps of this Grand Prix. Keep an eye on Imrie too, as you say, Dan. He is also there. But Slazenger is on his way through here, but I dare say he may emerge. He's going to emerge behind BJ, but he should come out in front of Landor and Lucky here. He will do just that. As I go towards turn 1, BJ is past the pit exit, so that was quite a I'm not sure if you saw it, Dan. It's quite an odd read.
Yeah, quite interesting
rejoin, yes.
Interpretation of the white line rules we have, but they're always looking for that extra half a tenth or second in Slazenger's case there. And
it wouldn't have been. He didn't get a penalty for that at all. I imagine the stewards have their say, but regularly you'd see an in-game penalty for that sort of thing. Regardless, we'll wait and see for that to come about. The gap here is closing between the two race leaders here. That gap was 3.5 seconds. It's now 2.9. So Grovey is closing the gap, and she's also in front of Grumio, who, of course, remember, he has got the pace to keep up with these guys, but he's on 11-lap-old hard tyres. So his tyres are a lot older than everyone else's. And I think that contact with Imrie on lap 5 definitely set him back a bit, and it's starting to show through now. But Imrie's closing on those mediums, which I imagine will be struggling towards the end of the race. So we could see those two going at it for P3. And keep an eye on BJ and Slazenger, who will be on soft tyres. Damn, we're in for a good race for the podium here. I'm very excited for these last 8 laps.
Yeah, Imrie already within the DRS of Blaze, but no ERS to fully attack, as actually Imrie goes to the outside at turn 1 of Blaze. Blaze just lets off the brake a bit. Doesn't show Imrie any room, and Blaze for now keeps P3 ahead of Imrie.
Maintaining it for the minute, but I doubt he can keep Imrie behind forever. That gap is still closing, 2.2 seconds now. The advantage. We could be about to see 2 very fast drivers go for the lead. This is almost Leclerc Verstappen, if I'm completely honest. I'm getting flashbacks to 2022 here. This could be an absolutely fantastic scrap in the last couple of laps. Just hopefully they'll keep it clean between them. Of course, BJ and Slazenger are both closing in, but BJ's got 7 seconds to close on Imrie. And those two are still insanely quick, so we could be in for those guys making their chase. And Landor 5-6 seconds back from him. He's got Lucky Lambert for company behind him. So I think similar to last week, Dan, the points seem to, at least for now, be set as to who's going to finish within the points. But as to who will finish in what position is yet to be determined. As Imrie takes Grumio there for P3. But I think Grumio will have the DRS this time around as they go through. We'll keep an eye out. Yes, he does. Yellow flag, and that's Pope. That's a safety
And
car.
a safety car.
Well, well.
Okay.
And Grumio takes P3 before it comes out.
It's a very, very good time for the safety car to come out because these leaders can make a very quick decision whether they want to box or soft. As we actually see Nicholas go straight in, and Grovey as well.
Yeah,
so BJ and Slazenger on those soft tyres might just get a bit of a boost in their places.
Yeah. We could be in. This finish has all of a sudden been made a lot more entertaining. Didn't quite catch happened to Pope there, which unfortunate a second retirement, but of course he made it a lot further into the race this time around than he did last time, which of course I know he wouldn't like me to hear that. There we go. We've got him in the commentary box here. Pope, are you there with us, mate?
Yeah, this game is horrendous, mate.
And it's a good thing I'm not in the EA Creator Network, otherwise I'd be getting ruined for that.
You've already heard my opinion many times.
Yeah,
Hello guys, welcome. But I'm very baffled by the incident. I literally hit nose on and my wheel comes off.
Where was you hit? Sorry.
Turn 2. So turn 2, oversteered, is what it is. I had damage apparently. I don't remember getting damage. Because apparently touching the wall just gives you red front wing damage all of a sudden. But you know, it is what it is. Turn 1, lap 1 cost me my race anyway, so it makes no difference. But I think that is probably going to be the issue for this upcoming season is the field is very good, fantastic drivers, very clean. But with this new point system, if you have an incident lap 1, you're done for the entire race. You're completely out of the race, which might be something to look at going into rule changes and stuff, because there is literally no way back into that race. And obviously for myself, who I was unfortunate in lap 1, turn 1, to just be in the end of a parked car on the exit of turn 1.
I wouldn't say no to a MotoGP point system.
But,
I mean, it's more of a. I love the point system now. I think it's great because it's so rewarding, but it's
on the
just unfortunate.
other side of the coin, yeah.
It's like, because there was no way back in the race for me, and I was pushing really hard. I felt like I had an amazing pace as well. Like, I was keeping a good gap to cop for a very long time until I got damage. Like I say, I don't remember where. I don't even remember touching many walls this race. I think I touched about 3 walls. But you know, it is what it is. That's rust, I guess. But I'm fuming about that incident. I am livid. EA, I am livid. How does my wheel fall off?
So Pope, what actually happened down into turn 1? I don't think we caught all of it. Was there anybody particularly?
Lap 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've rocket at the start, soft tyres, fantastic. I believe it was Shane, which obviously I got damage off Shane last week. I saw a Williams facing backwards, and I saw a Mercedes facing forwards parked, and I just could not put on the brakes fast enough, really. And I think that's what it is. It's obviously just lap 1, turn 1, especially at Saudi Arabia. It's one of those tracks where it's such a harsh turn in it, so you're obviously going to have an incident there. But like I say, it's obviously unfortunate for myself, and I think a couple of other people got caught up in it. Obviously, safety cars helped him now, but I think JB was
JB got
worse off as well.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for drivers like us who you can't do anything about the race. Then, like, you're so distant. It's obviously it rewards those who are clean, especially those at the top, and they fully deserve to have a clean race. But at the end of the day, you have unfortunate incidents like that, especially around this track. It's just something that's a bit of the other, like Zach said, the other side to the coin of such a great point system.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let you go, but one last thing. With the situation as it is now, who do you reckon is going to win the race? Give me a prediction.
Oh, great question. I'm going to say Grumio. I think Grumio's always been fantastic safety car restarts. You put him in the middle of the pack. I think he's probably in the best position for that. It's going to be very close. I'm surprised not more people went on to softs. I think Grumio is the second car on softs. Obviously got Slazenger, but third. Sorry, the Red Bulls.
Second on fresh softs. So we'll give it
second on fresh softs. So yeah, I think it's good. I think it'll be Grumio. It's just unfortunate, I think, because you don't want it to ruin anyone's race. But at the end of the day, an incident happens, and it's something that you have to be for in that cockpit of the car, but my prediction is Grumio.
Okay. We'll have to see in about 10 minutes, so if you are right. Well, thank you for joining us, Pope. Again, commiserations for the incident, but hopefully we'll see you back in here for a better reason soon.
Yes, let's hope so. Hopefully next week.
Hopefully, yeah. Right, so that was Pope with an unexpected late interview mid-race, which is something we've never really done in the RDL before. Dan, if you had to give me a prediction to win the race, who are you going for? Because it could be anyone.
Well, something I want to point out is the Ferraris not pitting onto soft tyres, pitting onto mediums and hard tyres instead. So the strategy masterclass that we often see from the Ferrari team in real life has apparently happened in the game as well. But, I mean, Nicholas on that first stint on the mediums was flying. So whether that will work for these last, I think will be 4 laps by the time we get going, we'll have to wait and see. I think Grovey is probably the one that will do it. Lucky in the middle of Grovey and Nicholas on those old hard tyres might just hinder her a bit. But that fast Red Bull of Schlesinger at the front might just bring her back into it as well. So I'm going to say Grovey, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was even Websey down in P12, because this track, as we've seen so far, is chaotic, and yeah, I mean, someone will make the most of it.
I dare say in a moment or two we'll get the message from race control saying the safety car will come back in now that JB is caught to the back of the pack. I believe he's still a lap down at this point. Oh, I'm not sure if he's been able to unlap himself. Oh no, he's back on the lead lap.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Even better. Right, so we'll get the message here once we get through the second sector. And there we go. Here we go then. 4 more laps left to go in this race. I dare say it's anyone's game. I asked for predictions. Honestly, I couldn't give you a winner myself. It could be Schlesinger. It could be Nicholas. It could even be Lucky. It could be Grovey. It could be Imrie, or it could be even be Grumio, BJ, Curtis, Lando. I'm just listing off the grid at this point. Anyone could still win at this race. I wouldn't put it down to JB and P18 to have a stab at it. But, you know, anything can happen when these cars are on soft tyres. They go like stabbed rats. And we'll wait to see which rat will emerge in the rat race. Let's check a flag. 4 laps in the waiting here. Schlesinger will be looking to try and pull away as best he can this restart. I haven't really seen Schlesinger control a restart as of yet. But he's got Nicholas right there behind him, and I dare say he's left him for dead here. Good getaway from the Red Bull as they begin lap 22. 4 laps to go here in Jeddah. Nicholas there in second, Lucky third, Grovey in fourth, not the best of starts. Grumio closing, looking for a move on Imrie. Very late on the brakes into turn 1 and very late on the lane change too. Grumio into 5th place, and I dare say that could be the start of his onslaught towards the front.
Yeah, that was ruthless there from Grumio on the outside into turn 1. Didn't see him on board with Imrie, but until he made that move. So very, very brave. As yeah, Lucky now just holding up these cars behind. Grumio and Grovey are going to want to get past as soon as possible on this Aston Martin.
Just going to go for it now here. Grovey to the outside of the racetrack. She's lost 2 seconds already to the 2 leaders who are almost nose to tail here. Grovey around the outside of Lucky Lambert, makes it stick, takes P3 away. Now the hunt is on. She's on the freshest tyres of this top 3. Grumio looking at it as well, goes scything through and takes P4 away. Lucky is falling through the field here, and this late safety car may have cost him as he refused to pit. He stayed out valiantly, but those hard tyres have seen better days compared to those softs, and now he's falling through the field. I dare say we may see him miss out on points. We could see Landlord get the last one.
Yeah, Nicholas now within 2/10 of Schlesinger, goes for a slingshot into this outside lane and makes the move on the Red Bull. So a lead change already. Nicholas in the lead on those medium tyres.
And we'll see if he can pull away here. He's got a lap to try and build a lead before DRS comes back into play. Grovey then Grumio. I thought it was BJ. I almost got into the wall for a second there, but he's managed to keep it on the track. And look at the train that's built up here. Everyone is at it. Everyone from P6 to P18, more or less, is here fighting, jostling for those last few places. Grumio takes Grovey at turn 1, and Imrie might try and get Grovey as well on the outside. The hard tyre Ferrari going at it as they're going towards the braking zone. Who will be the last one to break into the corner? Contact there. A bit of tap to the tyres. Yellow flag behind him. That is Curtis has gone around.
Yeah, I think someone else might have been involved in that as well. Yeah, PJ. So unfortunate for the Alpha and Alpine. However, Blaze now up into P3. Only 2.5 laps really to go. I think it might be too little too late for the Williams.
And Nicholas is pulling away to an advantage here. He seems to have been start to make a habit of clinching in these late race scenarios. And I think that'll be a crucial thing to come this season, especially given how close these races are. Nicholas away to 1.2 second lead here. Grovey half second back from Grumio, looking to try and chase for that podium in the last couple of laps. DRS will come into play in a lap's time. Caught into P10 now, looking to try and swipe some late points. Grovey around the outside there, going very, very ballsy indeed on the Williams. It makes it stick too, moving in front, but Grumio will get a bit of a tow here as they go towards the last corner. He looks to the outside of the racetrack on Grovey as they go into the braking zone. The Rebel will emerge in front. Imri trying to slide in. Couldn't quite do it. Slides on the exit of the corner. A DRS deployed. 2 laps to go here. And as you say, Dan, I think it might be too little too late. But it doesn't mean they can't race for the podium here in these closing laps.
Yeah, I think Grovey was trying to look to the inside there as we see. Someone interesting actually in this top 8 with points is Lycon in P7. He has a 3-second penalty. But if he stays out...
That's close.
There's a bit of contact between him and the Williams of Landlord, and I think that might just do Lycon's points chances. Unless obviously the stewards and Lycon maybe got one of them wrong. But yeah, Websy now in P9, looking to actually get that P8 on track as well, I think.
Definitely, I wouldn't say it's over yet for anyone here. Keep an eye on Cott, who, if he can close in on Websy, I doubt he can close 2 seconds this late on, but you never know. Anything could still happen. And Fan back down to P11 on his own right now, with only Courtney Goblin behind him for company, plus the rest of the train there. Lucky Lambo down to P13 here. That gamble to stay out has not worked out for him at all here. He was looking at points. He's now looking at a mid-pack finish at this point. And speaking of points, Nicholas is about to claim 10 more if he can. Hold on for the lap and a half or so. He's got 1.7 seconds in Slicenger. He's about to bring home some more in the championship. I think this should move him into second place in the standings. And Grovey is closing on Grumio. And there'll be a massive fight here. 3 cars going at it. Keep an eye on BJ too. These guys will all have DRS in the last lap. 1 lap left here in Jeddah. And Nicholas on course for 2 wins from 2. But it's not over yet. Anything could still happen. He's just got to make it round on this last lap.
Yeah, I just want to say sorry to the Ferrari strategists who I questioned. These medium tyres on Nicholas's car have worked an absolute treat. He's 2 seconds clear on this last lap. As I think Grovey just biding her time on Blaze, but Blaze has slightly more ERS than the Red Bulls, so whether that will be enough to see her off, we'll have to wait.
She's maybe banking on some kind of mistake from the 6-time champion of the series. I doubt she'll get one because Grumio is pulling away here to a bit of a gap. It's going to be very, very close indeed. And Slazenger, all he's got to do now is just keep himself out of DRS range of Grumio. But Grumio is closing in that gap, 1.1 seconds. Keep an eye out. Fan down to P14 here. This has not been a good start for the reigning champion in this Grand Prix. Down to P15 now. Both Aston Martins around him. Nicholas, 3.2 to the good here. And Grumio will have DRS on Slazenger and leaving Grovey to defend from P4 from Imri.
Yeah, this lap from Grumio has been fantastic. He has a bit of a wobble entering Sector 3. I mean, Slazenger's had no ERS for a little while. Whether Grumio can just make something happen. It goes around the outside at the last corner.
He might get him
Tries
here.
to get a slingshot as Nicholas heads to the line.
Nicholas wins. And they come for second. It's going to be very close. They come to the line and Slazenger just gets it.
Wow.
15 hundredths of a second.
Wow.
What a finish. Yellow flag. And that is Cott crashing over the line. But at least he made it over the line.
Yeah.
And Fan joining him.
Is Fan who actually lost P14 to JB on that last lap as well. So, yeah, the current champion after 2 races has 0 points to his name.
Not a fantastic start at all, but Nicholas has made a furious fast start here. 2 wins from 2, and I dare say, yeah, he fully deserved this one, if I'm honest. I argue this is probably a better drive than the one in Bahrain. Of course, the grip penalty could have knocked his confidence after qualifying after that collision with Pope, but he's come back through again. Nicholas takes 2 wins from 2. It's 20 points, and the Tifosi must be very happy indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was a very, very composed last stint there from Nicholas. Yeah, I mean, those mediums in the first stint, they worked wonders, and I mean, they worked they worked wonders in the last as well. So, I mean, can anyone top him throughout the rest of this season? We'll have to wait and see.
It was very close today, so there's a number of contenders who could do it, but we're going to Australia next time out, which is a vastly different circuit. So we could be in for a bit of different play here as we head back towards Australasia or Oceania, however you pronounce one of those two. And it's taking ages for the podium animation to load in. No clue what's going on here. There we are. Nicholas takes the win then. Slazenger in second and Grumio in third. And we'll have a look here at your final results. Groby in the end comes home in fourth, Imri fifth, BJ in sixth, Landlord seventh, and Websy takes the final point on offer in the end. Lycon after penalty finishes in ninth. Cott takes home 10th. A decent return after the disqualification, of course, the stuff going on at turn 1 at the start of the race. Lucky P11 in the end, fought back, but it just wasn't enough for points in the end. Courtney Goblin P12 snuck up there, did a great job today to keep himself out of trouble. Ethan P13, and it's JB 14th, Arsenal Fan 15th, Curtis 16th, PJ 17th, Fan in the end finishes in 18th after leaving the session early. Fan and Shane both go down as DNFs for this race. So 2 retirees, and everyone else made it across the finish line. So that's been your race, and we'll look now into some post-race interviews. Dan, you down doing again this week? Up to you.
Yeah, I'll just ask one question each, if that's all right.
Completely up to you, mate. Not a problem. Bill,
yeah, I'll just do one question.
Well, we have our first arrival in the comms box. Nicholas, our race winner, goes 2 for 2. Nicholas, the others, mate, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Excellent.
Good day.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk us through it, especially talk us through that last restart, because that was it's a fantastic getaway. The medium tyres worked out fantastically for you.
Yeah. So begin at the restart or quali? What do you want?
Up to you, mate. Probably, let's
okay. You said restart. Your fault. Yeah, restart was brilliant. I was very happy that Lucky Lambert didn't pit, so I had one car at least between me and Grovey, because Grovey was very quick today. And yeah, well, the restart, of course, I knew the mediums were quicker than the softs, because the softs were just, I don't know, maybe it was just us, we couldn't drive them. Like in quali, I did a solid lap on them in the last run, but in the second lap, I know, I don't know if it's in the stream, but there was a bit of chaos, let's say it like that. But yeah, it was a fun race in the end. Now begin with quali. Quali was good. The first run, I got Interspole, of course, easy. And the second run, yeah, there was a bit of chaos. I would have gotten pole with it, but it is what it is. I fought my way back from the grid penalty I got because Pope didn't move out of the way. I'm not gonna report it or anything. It's just that's racing, you know. So I'm not mad at him or anything. Had a tough day, that man. And yeah, the race, I had a good start. Of course, we got lucky that Shane did go for the move that I expected him to go to on Landlord. So he got spun out, so I got 2 positions already. And then it was just a waiting game till the softs go in. And of course, the pace today was really something else, but that's what I expected from Jeddah.
It was a fantastic race that was run. Taking us back to qualifying, the decision for Inters, you do understand that there is no Inters Championship, right? I'm just checking with you here.
I'm gonna make one.
He's making an Inters Championship, right then? Okay. JB, if you watch an Inters Championship, make it happen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna write to JB. No.
Right.
Yeah. Nah, I did Inters because I got used to it in different leagues now, and that's exactly why I did Inters, because I knew the softs are not the tire to be on in the race, so I saved my. For the first run, I normally go out like Fan with the mediums, you know, like I did in Bahrain. So when I go out on Inters, I just do 2 runs and 1 on Inters just to get used to the track again. And now I had the fresh mediums waiting for me at the end because I had a feeling that it's gonna crash at the end.
Fair enough. Of course, obviously the safety car changed everything once we looked into the restart. But of course, the decision to go on to mediums, were you considering softs at that point, or?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I had in mind that I could keep up easily without using my ERS with both to my teammate, and of course, I get spammed from my teammate at the moment. Wait a sec. So apparently he said I have to say he's a good teammate. He's the GOAT. So now I said that, he would be happy. And well, yeah, I just knew that the pace on the mediums against the softs is really not that different. It was just a tire on Jeddah because I don't know if I drove higher or lower wings. I was gone for a very aggressive setup. I was like with 8 difference between front and rear wing. Normally you drive like 2 or 4. That's why I missed the chicane 2 times, but didn't get a penalty for that, and didn't get front wing as well. Well, and yeah, that's it. I talked enough.
Dan, you got any questions?
Yeah, I mean, Nicholas is 2 wins from 2 now. I mean, is anyone going to stop you?
Yes, my work.
Ah.
Nah, the grid is absolutely fire, and to be honest, I just learn from my rivals like Imri, like other people like Viper. You don't know him, but like Lemons as well. I just learn from them. So that's why I'm now getting quicker. But to be honest, it's not gonna be like that every time.
Would we say we're still in there for the championship though? What do you reckon? Or is
If I get enough points, I would say yes, but I have to see really.
Fair enough. Right, yeah.
But
Okay.
one thing,
Go on.
I don't focus on Drivers' Championship. I just focus on Ferrari getting the title.
Fair enough.
That's fair.
I'm sure the old man will be very happy with that. Right. Well, that'll do us. Congratulations again on the win. Perhaps we might see you back in next week. But of course, Australia is a very different circuit, so I'll have to see
that's
what
true.
happens. Yeah. Well, congratulations, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. Have a nice one.
You too. Or no one has shirt for interviews. So Dan, that'll be it from us. Any more words before we sign off?
No, if this is my last race in the commentary box for a while, I just want to say thank you, Zach, for having me. It's been a pleasure joining you.
Thank you for coming along, mate. You've been fantastic. I'm sure everyone down in the chat will agree. Of course, but before we go, we'll make our word of the race. What do you reckon we can go for this week?
Twisty.
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 Twisty. Okay, right. So today's word of the race is twisty. So those of you who are watching the stream either afterwards, preferably afterwards, but if you're watching it live, make sure to go in the comments and write the word of the race is twisty and let us know what you think of Dan's commentary. So that'll be it for us for this week. I've been your host, Zach RC. He's been Daniel Aaron. And until our next Grand Prix, we shall see you next time. The next Grand Prix is will be on the 22nd of January, the Australian Grand Prix from the Melbourne Albert Park circuit. So we'll see you then. Good night, everyone, and we shall see you soon.